Senator Henry.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if he follows through, I'll be the oldest rat in the barn, so I'll say what I've got to say right now. There were two statesmen at the foundation of the Republic. There was Mr. Jefferson and Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jefferson was the founder of the Democratic Party, and I've heard also the founder of the Republican Party. You all know more about that than I would. Mr. Jackson was another founder of the Democratic Party. They had two different ways of looking at things. Mr. Jefferson thought that parties were a nuisance and got in the way of good government. Mr. Jackson thought that parties brought about good government because they're striving against each other. Well, John Wilder and I are Jeffersonians. Most of you all on both sides of the aisle are Jacksonians. And I understand that. And that's the framework within which you work. But I do believe, Mr. Speaker, that the ability of a speaker, I've only served under two. One was Jim Beaumont in the House 100 years ago, and then John here and you. If a speaker can bear in mind that there's just much worth behind a desk with a D on it as behind a desk with an R on it, or vice versa, then he's got the knack of it. And I expect you do, Mr. Speaker. You've been around here long enough to know as much about it more than I do. But that's the knack of it. When you get here I'd say to be a Jacksonian when you're running on both sides of the aisle, but be a Jeffersonian when you work in the Senate. So that's all. And he did that. It's right remarkable. With all the political hustle and bustle around this place, and newspapers and television roaring all the time, John Wilder, he kept his feet on the ground. He didn't get buffaloed by anybody pushing him. I don't think you will either, Mr. Speaker. You're what, the sixth generation Sullivan County, aren't you? Seventh generation Sullivan County. You've got good feet on the ground. But that's what I appreciate about John Wilder. He made a great mistake. I don't know if they ever knew. There used to be a fellow here, said Captain, didn't he? Ed Blank. Man, he was one bright guy. And the chairmanship of the Finance Committee came open, and I said, John, you need to appoint Ed Blank. He said, no, I'm going to appoint you. I said, I don't know anything about it but me. So he never did tell me in word or motion what position to take on anything. And I know there were things I did that he didn't like. In fact, he and I used to debate bills on the floor. He'd come down and take one side and another. But he is that kind of fella. And Randy, I don't know what the relationship is between you and Hal. Good, I hope. I'm sure it is. You and the Speaker. Ron, I said Hal. When you were on the Finance Committee, I used to call you Senator Rambo. I couldn't think of your last name. I apologize, Mr. Speaker.
A lot of people gets mixed up.
But, I'm sure you and Senator McNally have that same relation, because so many bills come to that committee, and that's where the money goes, and it's the money that makes things happen most of the time. So, John, Mr. Speaker, Senator Wilder, I declare I haven't got any way to put in words what you meant to my life, and Senator McNally, I'm sure you'll find that to be the case with Speaker Ramsey. Thank you.